Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Senior producer Ryan Nicholson in charge of things across the glass this morning. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jared Construction Studios. Right on time, right on budget. Visit jared-construction.com. Phone calls to the show a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street in Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor on Virginia Street. Saluting dads everywhere. Check out the selection of happy socks, quality tees for dads, custom shirts, and more. Visit Best Master Taylor or Tony. That's bestmastertaylor.com or Tony's Facebook page if you like more. Good Tuesday morning to you. A little bit of a slow drive for some of us coming in this morning. There is construction eastbound on I-64. Not too terrible of a delay. I was talking to one of my coworkers who was. I was delayed about 15 minutes or so coming in this morning, talking to one of my coworkers who just came in and said it wasn't too bad there at all. But just so you know, you could have a little bit of delay because it is construction season now, and Lord knows we need it here in West Virginia. Coming up a little bit later on, Ric Cavender from Charleston Urban Works is going to be stopping by. You may have seen last week front page story in the Gazette Mail about a new grocery store that's going in on the east end of Charleston, something that is definitely has been needed for some time. We'll talk to Rick about that, plus some other big things. We're just a couple of weeks away from Foam at the Dome, which is a big event that the Charleston Urban Works folks do. So we'll talk to Rick about that. Plus, Robb Reel from our sister station 96.1 KWS will be stopping by. You know, we're always doing stuff. Robb loves to do stuff for the community. And it's not even court ordered. That's the cool thing about it. He just does it out of the goodness of his heart. And this is one of those events that we call upon our listeners to help us out. As you may very well know, a lot of kids, and school is out now for kids in Kanawha County. I know it's out in Putnam County, I think, later in the week. A lot of kids, when they go home for summer, they don't have a lot of food. And there are various organizations. We talked to Doug Irwin from the Backpack Buddies program yesterday that try to help out in that situation, but there's always more help needed to make sure that kids have something to eat during the summer months. So we're doing a thing along with the folks at Union Mission on Thursday that we call Drop Your Snacks. And as we've done these things in the past, we clear off our parking lot at 1111 Virginia Street East in Charleston, and we ask you, the greatest listeners in the world, starting at 7 a.m., going all the way to 6 p.m. on Thursday, just to drop off some non-perishable food items. And I've got a list of what we're looking for. If you can drop off a box of cereal or you can drop off a box of cereal, either will be fine. And we'll talk to Robb. This is kind of his baby, and all of our stations will be involved in it, but Robb will join us coming up about that a little bit later on. Plus, your calls and texts are always welcome. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. He hasn't been on for a while, but he joins us now. Our good friend Walt Hall, Republican delegate from the 58th. How you doing, sir?
Hey, doing well, Dave. How are you, buddy?
Welcome to our new home, man.
This is nice. Very professional.
I noticed you were limping a little bit going down the steps. You tell me you got some knee issues. All those years of being a stellar athlete, man.
It caught up with me, brother.
It does catch up with you when you get a little bit of age on us.
I didn't think twice playing hoops down Highland Elementary on Canal Terrace on that concrete court, but it has caught up with me.
But today you're thinking, well, maybe I should have maybe not played as much or something.
Passed the court that day, yes.
Just for one day. We got some things in the community because I know you're very involved with your foundation. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. But I want to first talk about the session. It just ended. Of course, there's a little later ending to the session because it was a gubernatorial year. And so let's talk about the session overall. Your thoughts on the session overall.
Well, on the House of Delegates side, first of all, Dave, thanks for the opportunity to talk to you today. As you know, not here as much to talk about the politics of the legislative session.
But I would be remiss if I didn't ask you
Absolutely,
just for an overall.
Well, I'm a people person, so I'm here to talk about people and community. Mm-hmm. And with that said, on the House of Delegates side, we had a new format that was implemented with standing committees and subcommittees. For me personally, I was very happy with the results of those committees and the product that was presented before us on the House side. It transfers over to the Senate. At the end of the day, we had 249 bills pass legislation, with 152 of those on the House. And 2,300 bills were presented to the West Virginia legislation in 2025.
I don't think, Walt, that people realize, and you probably didn't until you got there either, how many bills are actually out there at one session.
You would think that kind of holds us back from producing quality. I'm more of a delegate that presents 3 or 4 bill opportunities as I hear from my constituents. And then I look to pass 2 or 3 bills during my session. And I was proud to get across the finish line the Dementia Services Director position for the state of West Virginia. That bill did pass both bodies. It went to the governor's office, and it will go into effect into law.
And what exactly is that?
It's a Dementia Services Director. The state of West Virginia, there's 28 other states that has this position within their state government. The state of West Virginia did not. And starting July 1st, we will have a go-to person and department to answer and address all constituent services for families living with dementia or other dementia illnesses.
And this has been something that I know that has been very near and dear to your heart as we'll start to transition away from politics is things having to do with dementia.
It does. I am trained as a community educator for the Alzheimer's Association for the past 12 years. Co-chaired Dementia Friendly St. Albans. We are the only community in the state to be recognized as a dementia friendly community. And with that said, in the last 2 years ago, we passed a bill to form a task force. We formulated 19 volunteers from across the state to address the needs of families dealing with dementia. And the one recommendation was that the state of West Virginia, with the high numbers that we have, needed a department, needed an individual for families to go to with their questions. One recommendation, another law passed. So in 2 years, I've been blessed to follow the Alzheimer's Association's lead and get 2 bills passed in dealing with this illness.
You heard any word about a special session?
I have. There's a lot of yesterday. Actually, I was on the phone with several people. They had heard it was going to be in July. Now I hear it could be in September. Mm-hmm. So I love the governor's approach that the issues before us and him for calling special session, I think relates into PEIA and some insurance issues. And we have interims in the end of June at the Stonewall Resort, and that will be a topic of discussion to see if we can come to a common ground and solutions that would be beneficial to all of our policyholders. So I think it's predicated on what comes out of our interims in June.
Yeah, because you can't. The code says, we talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Yes.
Special sessions have to be held in the capital city. You can have interims as you frequently do around the state, but the actual special sessions have to be done in Charleston. So you couldn't do that, and when you're at your conference at Stonewall,
that is correct.
You can make your plans, but you can't actually do it there.
It's sort of like a summer camp. We're going to
one way to
put it in a positive way, right?
Right.
But we're going to Stonewall to discuss the topic, and then we can come back to the Capitol for the special session or next interims to see what direction we want to go.
Talking with Delegate Walt Hall, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Pinnacle offers a 4-phase assessment for your properties: inspection, sampling, and analysis, comprehensive reporting, and management planning. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can hurt you. All right, let's put the politics aside, and let's talk about some other things you're involved with. You're always involved in things going on in the community. Explain your foundation for people that don't know about it.
Oh, yes, sure. Thank you for the opportunity. The 25177 Foundation is our city zip code in the city. It's a community-based organization that primarily dedicated to the youth of St. Albans and the surrounding areas. It was established in 2004. It employs the motto, help us, help you. We provide funding to youth groups based on their community service effort. We organized the community service event. In the middle of April, we did a community citywide cleanup. I present $10 per person. 30 people show up for your soccer team, you get $300 donation for 3 hours of community service. We had 117 participants with 7 youth groups at our local church on McCorkle Avenue at Grace Baptist, and served hot dogs and water, and just had a wonderful day. Instilling pride in our youth, and hopes that in the future they'll look at a cleaner community and put pride into what they're doing. So it was great.
I mean, I know this is something that you've been very, very passionate about long before you ever got it, because you and I have known each other for a number of years, long before you ever got into politics. This is something that that you have been a big part of with your foundation and other things that you've done in the community. Well, I am the foundation. When my mother passed away, I wanted to create a foundation to honor her heart. My mother was a wonderful Christian woman who just led by example. And her grassroots program at the time was to volunteer at the ball field, the gymnasium, the church, the community. Didn't matter. You're not giving a handout, but a hand up to help others. And so now I have a scholarship that I presented 3 weeks ago at St. Albans High School to honor my mother and my father. My father passed 2 years ago. And then I had one to present to a young lady to honor my sister, who also passed, who was on that 1975 St. Albans State Championship track team that was just recently honored at the state championship meet. And that's how the foundation kind of got off the ground. And now we've parlayed that into community service. And our golf tournament, I'll get into how we raise the money, is the August the 9th, Saturday at Big Bend, 2-person golf scramble. 22nd year we'll be celebrating this year. And we'll have you on as we get a little bit closer to talk about that. But give us the dates again, just because that way, because I know how golfers are. I mean, the golf calendar is starting to fill up right now. So give us the dates for that. Yeah, again. It's August the 9th, this Saturday at Big Bend. It'll be our 22nd annual. We do sell out. We limit it to 120 golfers. We have 30 volunteers on the course that day. A lot of folks just trying to make your day special. We felt the more we could touch a golfer, the better the experience would be. So at every par 3, we have volunteers, we have raffle opportunities, and August the 9th is the golf outing. And we'll have another community day, hopefully community service, citywide pickup in the middle of August. And then being the leadership chair for 2025 for the Alzheimer's Association and the walks across our state, I'm promoting all the walks in the different areas. And October will be the walk here in Charleston for the Alzheimer's Association. That was a quick transition from foundation to Alzheimer's, but I know we're limited, right? But you got a lot of stuff going on, man. Well, I actually tried to print the different activities going on from Dunbar to Nitro to St. Albans. That is my district. That is District 58. We talk about grassroots programs, and as you know, I've been receiving some direct mailers in the mail to my constituents, and I live grassroots. I put my money where my mouth is, and that's through a variety of events. And, I'm involved with the Rotary Club, as you and I have been for the last 20 years.
Walk to End Alzheimer's, organizing community cleanups. We're doing a Youth Safety Day in July down in the city of St. Albans. Some news about our Chief Gilbert is going to be retiring soon. So I had the opportunity to speak with Captain Bass yesterday and Mayor Goodwin in Charleston. That's a big event for kids. We're going to provide free helmets to our youth and bicycles if needed. And that'll be at the St. Albans parking lot. Just another event that I not only participate in, volunteer, but organize as well. So we'll have the bicycles and do a training course, and then we'll go through town trying to offer up free helmets where they're needed for safety purposes.
You said something about a mailer. What is somebody?
Yeah, there's a well-funded.
This is all new to me. So
yeah, well-funded PAC that has sent mailers to my constituents that have about certain topics that I'm not going to address or give them any credit for it. But if you want to talk about grassroots, let's talk about what we're doing.
Okay,
that's what I'm here to tell you about. What I'm doing and what I've been doing for 20 years. And it's not about a shiny, glossy postcard. It's about putting your feet to pavement. It's about lifting others up, and it's about doing. I'll leave it at that, and just comment and appreciate the opportunity to serve my district, and I'll continue to do that for as long as they want me and appreciate my work.
Delegate Walt Hall, give us the website or social media or whatever for your foundation.
Foundation is 25177 Foundation. That is a Facebook page. In regards to my campaign, it's walterhallwv.com. You can pretty much Google my name and you'll find all the different organizations and events that I'm engaged in. And Dementia Friendly St. Albans, I'm very proud of what we're doing down there. Proud of the work the Alzheimer's Association is also putting forth. And I'd say get engaged, man. June 21st, the Color the River Purple is another event. It'll be a float trip, canoe trip, kayak, or paddleboard putting in at Boy Scout Lodge and Canal Boulevard. I could go on and on, Dave.
Yeah, we only got an hour show, Walt.
I know. I'll be back after break. I know.
Okay. Well, go get that knee taken care of, or you're not going to be doing any of this stuff. All right?
I hear you, but I do appreciate the opportunity to share events that's happening in our community. Right. And I encourage everybody to get out. And as you know, Yacht Fest coming up in St. Albans, June 13th and 14th.
We'll be talking about that as well. Delegate Walt Hall, appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a whole 10-inch sub for $23.99. Find your closest Huston's for delivery, pickup, or dine-in by going to HustonsPizza.com. Ric Cavender from Charleston Urban Works coming up right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Earn more with 4 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 4%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by one of the 8 Poca Valley Bank locations today. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield, subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
This summer, get a head start on your future at Bridge Valley Community College. Dive into hands-on experiences and earn college credits, all while still in high school. Join us on June 10th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at our South Charleston campus. Explore labs, meet instructors, and fast-track your career in nursing or advanced manufacturing. Bridge Valley, where your future takes shape. Visit bridgevalley.edu to win. Shape your future.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
927, Bigley, Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-500. Ava Dave Island Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Snap Fitness. Snap has a wide selection of equipment, including free weights, cardio, machine weights, and more. 5 convenient locations: Charleston, Hurricane, Winfield, Barbersville, and Milton. Visit snapfitness.com. Rob Reel from our sister station, 96.1 KWS, is going to join us a little bit later on. We are going to be doing a Drop Your Snacks event on Thursday, 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. on our parking lot, helping out the folks at Union Mission with this. And we'll have more with Rob on that coming up a little bit later on. Ric Cavender is here from Charleston Urban Works. How are you, man?
Good morning, Dave. How you been, sir?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Doing well. We got a lot of stuff to talk to you about as well. Big front page glossy picture in the Gazette Mail last week about a new grocery store coming to the East End. Talk about it.
Yeah. As you and I have discussed for, I'd say, the last decade now, grocery store on the East End has been a topic of conversation in one form or another. The East End has been a technical food desert as far as FDA standards are concerned. And it's because there hasn't been a grocery store there since, I believe, 2001, maybe 2002, somewhere in there. And so the residents of that particular district, that neighborhood, have had to, find, if they don't have transportation, find transportation to get access to goods, food and goods and healthy food. Or if they do have transportation, they have to drive elsewhere. Seeing the announcement about this and having a conversation with Ray, the owner who's going to be opening up this bodega style grocery store, it's exciting. It's promising. I think that we're going to see a good start to something. We're going to see the need fulfilled, and we're going to see the proof that there is a huge need there.
Now, explain exactly where it is.
So if you recall where Gino's was.
Yeah.
Right there beside Tudor's Biscuit World, right there at the corner of Ruffner Avenue and Washington Street East. It's that building where Gino's Pizza and Spaghetti was. It's Food Town is the name of the business. It's it's going to have pretty much everything you need. Smaller store, obviously. But what I've been saying whenever I've been talking about it is it's a great step in the right direction. I think he's doing a really good job with the design inside. And I really believe that the services and the goods that'll be offered there, mostly goods, will be a really, really good first step there.
Now, explain the concept of a bodega. You see these in larger cities. New York comes to mind, but for those who may not know, explain what a bodega actually is.
Well, that's a term used a lot when you go to bigger cities, typically in neighborhoods of larger metropolitan areas. If you go to Brooklyn, New York, if you're in any, little neighborhood that it exists in any larger city, they're usually corner stores, if you will. And, they offer everything you need. Usually there's like a small deli in there. I don't know if Food Town's going to have that.
Right. Yeah.
Packaged goods, pretty much everything you need. And it's designed for people because those densely populated areas, there's a large population of people who live around it and need quick access to things they can walk to. And this gentleman is from New York, and so he's bringing that style here, and I think it's perfect for the East End neighborhood. I
mean, and as you said, Rick, this is something that has been needed, in that area for some time. And it's kind of interesting the way, because when I was a kid, here's an old guy story, but when I was a kid, there were little stores like this around. Of course, I grew up in a much more rural area, but there were little stores like this. And then a lot of them just couldn't compete with the larger stores, the Kroger and certainly a Walmart or something like that. And so what they were kind of replaced with in some of these areas was carry out type stores, which was okay for certain things. But as you said, when it comes to, and the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, is a big part of that, because being FDA certified, meaning it's more of a grocery store, not just a place to stop by and get cigarettes, popping beer. Yeah. There's a lot more to it.
Well, and if I can rewind back to 2010, and you read the article. So, in 2010, we commissioned a huge grocery store feasibility study. We brought in, we hired professionals from out of the area to come in and analyze the entire district, not just the district, but the entire valley. We did front porch focus groups throughout the East End. I walked around with the consultants we hired, and we interviewed people on their front porches as we saw them and asked them, well, where do you go to get your groceries? You know, we know you just don't need, you know, chips and Cheez-Its and whatnot. You need access to real healthy food. Where do you go? The answers were really interesting. There were a lot of the folks we talked to did not have a car, and so they would walk to the Capitol Market. They would walk, in some cases, to Dollar General. Dollar General had just opened, and they had in that particular Dollar General on the East End, they had put like a small little grocery section there, like a freezer section. But they still were, you know, the Capitol Market has a lot. They have pretty much everything you need, but sometimes those price points for folks in certain socioeconomic, areas may not be able to afford all of that. And so they were having to go 2, 3, 4 different places to get what they needed. Because they didn't have access to one place that had everything. And then we talked to a group of elderly ladies who, they caravanned. They carpooled, up to the Ashton Place Kroger once a week, or to the Canal City Kroger once a week together, because it was easier for them. These are all things that no one in the capital city should have to do, but we all should have quick access to everything we need on a daily basis. And, it's pretty, it's sad that the East End has been this food desert for so long. Through that feasibility study, we were able to make contact with potential grocers, showing them particular lots that could be interesting to them. But the national model for locating a grocery store, and we're talking the larger ones, Kroger, Aldi, the big ones, their specs have changed so much. What they require to locate in any type of urban district, that just doesn't happen in states our size. I mean, you know, if you go to Chicago, you're going to find a Trader Joe's on one floor and an Aldi on the floor above it, you know, and in downtown Chicago, that works because the population's so much higher, and they can sustain that, because the bottom line is margins are just really, really tight in the grocery industry. It's a huge risk. And the gentleman who's opening Food Town here, I'm not only appreciative, I'm congratulating him on the risk. I think he'll find it won't be a risk. I think it will be successful. I think he is going to offer the things that the folks in the East End need. And the hope is it's not just the folks that live there, but it becomes a destination for people who may work around the East End. You know, the East End is flanked by two of the largest employers in the state of West Virginia. You have the Capitol on one end, you have CAMC General on the other end. We're talking huge buying power there. So how do you keep those people there before they hop on the interstate? How do you create a destination for them to stop somewhere before they go home, wherever they may live, you know?
And there's so many of us that do that on the way home. You know, you text back and forth with your spouse or your family or whatever and say, hey, can you stop and pick this up on the way home? Or can you we're getting the grilling season. Can you stop and pick up a couple steaks or burgers or hot dogs or something we're going to throw on the grill? Because I know you don't care, Rick, to answer the tougher questions. Okay, I got that because, well, I mean, your two jobs have kind of trained you for that. You know,
that's right.
This and school board, which we're going to let you off the hook on school board stuff today.
Thank you.
We're not
it's
talking
summertime,
about,
Dave. Come on.
Yes, so we're not talking about that. That area, though, on the East End, there have been, as you well know, this is what you do for a living. There have been some issues, you know, with crime and whatever. And we had a couple texts where people asked about it. How concerning is that? And that I had one text that mentioned that another store had gone out. And I don't know if this to be the case, but this is what they said specifically because of crime and theft and things of that nature. How concerned are you about that?
I'll tell you this. What we have realized, and I've been doing this work for 17 years, and we've seen ups and downs on the East End. You know, there's downturns, there's upturns, and I'll tell you, the upturns happen when small businesses are investing in not just their building, not just their business, but in their neighborhood. And typically that happens at the same time. You know, right across the street from where this bodega is going in is a gas station that many folks did not feel comfortable ever stopping at for several years. And it was acquired, and, you know, it's definitely been upgraded to a certain degree. It's a little more inviting now. You know, that helped. But you also have a business catty corner across. You have Leonardo Spaghetti that's been open for over 110 years now, I believe, that still is very successful because it's a destination business. People still go there. They feel comfortable enough to go there. What we've seen over time, while, yes, there are problems that exist in every city, we know that, and certain areas may be worse than others, we know that as well. What we've seen is that when investment occurs, those crime trends usually start to go on a downturn. That's usually what we see. We've seen that happen on the west side. We saw that happen on the east end for a long time. And what do we see happen when certain businesses close? Things also they take a downturn again. So I've always been a believer that it's the chicken before the egg. Whenever you see investment happen in a commercial district, you see the culture and the sort of shift. You see the dynamic shift. And I believe that particular corner is an extremely important corner. If you look at the urban renewal plan for the East End, there are certain corners that are outlined to be very important for development. The Elizabeth Street corner, which unfortunately we've seen some businesses close there over the past few years, and the Ruffner Avenue corner right there. Years ago, we opened up the East End Bazaar on that corner just to make some investment and get some foot traffic down there. And for the first few years, it was really successful. Unfortunately, we had to close it down. But I really do believe that that's usually the order in which things occur. You see investment happen with small businesses in a commercial district, an urban commercial district, and you see things slowly start to change. So my hope is. We have responsible business owners down there. We have wonderful places like Health Right that just did that enormous expansion, just 2 lots over from actually just a lot over from where this new bodega is going. Huge expansion, beautiful new renovation or building and renovation to a building. And that's also been a help for the East End. So brick by brick is what we've always said. That's how change happens. And what we mean by that is when small business investment occurs, we see changes in the neighborhoods.
Well, any kind of a timeline with this? Can you give me an approximate? I mean, what are we looking at here?
I'm waiting to hear back from him. We talked briefly last week, and we're supposed to meet sometime this week. He was out of town. I think he's coming back maybe at the end of this week. So I'll know more. I know we're still a few weeks out, maybe a month or two out from officially opening. Mm-hmm. But if you've walked by and you've seen the storefront, I mean, he's already made some really good investment in the storefront. Really nice, attractive signage. He's cleaned up the facade. And I've already let him know we have grant money available for this type of thing that we offer any of our property or business owners in our district. So we're waiting and willing to offer a helping hand however they may need.
We got a lot of big events, and we'll be talking more about this. I think I got you scheduled to come out like in a week or so to talk about, or maybe 2 weeks to talk about Foam at the Dome. That's a big thing you guys are doing. Our stations will be a big part of that, as we always are. How's the planning going for that?
Really, really well. We're pretty much ready. I mean, we're now just pushing out the advertising, marketing. Of course, you guys will be doing the ticket giveaways here in a couple weeks. This event in its 9th year, it has just become a staple for not just the city but for the whole state. We've seen people from 16 different states attend this event over the course of the past 9 years. It's one of the largest craft beer music festivals in the state now, and it draws people into not just the district but the entire city. And so we're capitalizing on that this year. We're adding a component to that called Foam After the Dome, and we've already gotten the advertising out in the businesses about that. We're wanting people to stick around. The event's over at 7 o'clock. You could have really good time from 3 to 7 o'clock, but we have 15 different local businesses participating, offering drink and food specials for our VIP ticket holders. Because we want folks to stay in Charleston once the event's over. Because we have folks that they're renting or they're reserving hotel rooms. They're coming from out of town. We have folks that are local here that may live a county over, may live 20 minutes away, but we want them to keep their money here and keep their feet on the street here after our event's over.
Are tickets available?
Online? Okay. FoamCWV.com.
So get your tickets ahead of time, and the VIP tickets are on there as well.
That's right. 55 for VIP, 45 for general.
All right, Rick, I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and we'll have you on, as we said, as we get closer to Foam in the Dome here in a couple of weeks, and all of our stations will be over there broadcasting live and hanging out on the stage. As long as you feed us, which you'll have me and Robb Reel and Woody Woods and Steve Annable. We'll all be hanging out over there.
That's never a problem.
All right. Ric Cavender, Charleston Urban Works, man. We're really looking forward to seeing what this store is going to be too.
I can't wait to hear back from him again. Maybe we could have him on talk about it sometime.
Absolutely. Right? Anytime. Right, Ric Cavender from Charleston Urban Works, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley, offering custom tailored trainings to supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
It's time to escape to your happy place without draining your wallet. At Members Choice, West Virginia Federal Credit Union, we'll help you get there. Right now, during our vacation loan special, you can borrow up to $1,500 with rates as low as 5.99% APR and up to 12 months to pay back. So whether you're going to the beach or the mountains, the time to go is now. Learn more or apply today at memberschoicewv.com. Lenders are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
The free Metro News TV app is the place to watch the voice of West Virginia all day. See Talkline with Dave and TJ, Sportsline with Tony Caridi, Free Guys before the game, and now Metro News Middays and Hotline with Dave weekly right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get the Metro News Television app from the Apple App Store or Google Marketplace. Metro News Television is powered by Dan Cava GMC, Gomart, Lou Wendell Marine, the Stike Team at Wealth Enhancement Group, and Panhandle Cleaning and Rest.
At Peyton Law Firm, we know how tough it is when life takes a sudden turn. An accident can change everything. But at Peyton Law Firm, we stand by you. Whether it's a car crash, a slip and fall, or disability claim, we fight for the compensation you deserve. Put the power of Peyton Law Firm on your side, because when it matters to you, it matters to us. Let us help you find justice. Visit us at PeytonLawFirm.com.
Retirement is more than a dream. It's a destination. Yet the journey can feel uncertain. At 4th Avenue Financial, they guide you with expertise and care. They help you navigate the questions. Am I on the right track? Or how do I ensure lasting income? Tailoring plans to your unique vision. They bring peace of mind to your retirement journey. Trust in their experience, proven through every market's ebb and flow. 4th Avenue Financial. Retirement done right. Get started at 4thavenuefinancial.com.
Securities offered through Jenny B. Cole Financial Incorporated. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny B. Cole Advisors Incorporated.
We got 17 away from 10. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text 304-935-5008. Text says the former Fruth on Summer Street would be a good location for a bodega. Text says Dave, remember Kroger left the East End because of theft. Text says I have noticed that compared to Walmart or Kroger, these smaller stores are usually more expensive. Why can't the East End get back a Kroger? I remember when Big Star was still around there too. Well, again, as Ric Cavender explained, I mean, what goes into where a store locates, we could spend 3 or 4 hours talking about that, and there's just not the market there for it. Just not the market there for it. It's the same reason we don't have a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's in this area. It is not the fault of any mayor, senator, delegate, county commissioner, or whatever. They just don't come. They've got certain things they look for, and unfortunately, we ain't one of them. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Meeks Realty Group. Check out this listing from Rich the Realtor. A charming, the man said, 2-bedroom, 1.5-bath townhouse in the heart of Taze Valley. It's in a highly sought-after area with award-winning schools, awesome kitchen, 2 big bedrooms, plenty of closet space, conveniently located between Charleston and Huntington. Call my guy, Rich the Realtor, 304-932-7488. My guy, Robb Reel, is here now from our sister station, 96.1 KWS. How you doing, man?
I can't complain. Sometimes I still do.
I do want to throw this out there that as we speak, the bargains thing, the auction is going on.
It is.
WBBargains.com. Head on over to the website. You're going to save yourself a whole bunch of money from different stuff going on there. They just launched that yesterday, and there's a lot of cool stuff available on there.
You'll hear a familiar voice, I think, when the website launches.
Okay.
I think I'm on that.
Okay.
I lose track, I'll be honest.
All right. Robb is here because Robb gets an idea. And what happens is Robb says, I've got this idea. And suddenly all of us in the building are saying, okay, what does this mean for us?
Yes.
And it's all good because we love giving back to the community. And so we're doing this thing on Thursday on our parking lot, 1111 Virginia Street East in Charleston, 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. And you know the routine, right now. We move all the vehicles off the lot. Yep. We ask people, our listeners, greatest listeners in the world, to come in and donate what?
This time it is non-perishable snacks for kids because school's out for summer, as Alice Cooper sang, and 1 in 5 West Virginia kids faces some level of food insecurity. 2/3 of West Virginia school kids are eligible for free or reduced lunch. 70,000 West Virginia school kids are in this situation. And there are some who only eat when school is open and breakfast and lunch are served there. So we're trying to serve our neediest, weest friends and neighbors with the help of Union Mission, gathering up non-perishable snacks. And Union Mission's doing the heavy lifting, let's be honest. They're doing the collecting and the sorting and the distributing. Cash and check donations work great as well. But at the end of the day on Thursday, when we're done at 6 o'clock Thursday evening, we want to have a truckload of non-perishable snacks to keep kids in need fed this summer. That's the whole thing.
And let me tell you some of the things that we're looking for. They're not limited to these things, but here's some of the things we're looking for. Things like boxed cereals, cups of noodles, mac and cheese, Pop-Tarts, juice cups, Gatorade, oatmeal, chips, cereal bars, packaged cheese and crackers, cookies, goldfish crackers, soups, jellos, puddings, fruit cups. That's kind of what we're talking about here.
The recovering Mrs. Real, as I've taken to calling her, and my ex-wife, is a junior high math teacher, and she says that goldfish crackers in particular, any of the flavors, are incredibly hard for her to keep in stock in her little. She's got a little store she runs in her room, extra credit points and that sort of thing. She says she can't keep enough goldfish. So if you go into Vapor Locker, well, what can I get? Get as many goldfish crackers as you can. Do that.
And we don't care if you donate, like if you go to your local, whatever the store is, and you buy a box. You go to your local Sam's store and you get a box of boxes, so to speak. Or we don't care if you run into your local convenience store and come back with a simple Pop-Tart, whatever. We don't care.
Everything is the right size. Everyone can find a way within their means, within their budget, to be a part of this. I mentioned cash and check donations are available. Maybe you can't run to the store, but you can run to the ATM, or you can just rip off a check for Union Mission. That will all work. I am always impressed, but never surprised at the way West Virginians come through for West Virginians.
I mean, and this is a guy who just got this bright idea last year to walk to Morgantown to walk a checkup because, the mail service doesn't work anymore. So he thought, I'll just walk the check up there. But people, and big shout out to Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration for helping out with that. People came through all along the way, and you presented a big old check. And it's not about, the reason I'm bringing that up is because that meant that our listeners care about West Virginia.
And if I've learned two things, it's that people want to help, but that people need they need a MacGuffin. They need an easy way to do it. And so we created this, for want of a better way to describe it, this drop brand that we have now. Started with our first turkey drop that we do at Thanksgiving, frozen turkeys to feed families during the holidays. And then our Drop Your Socks drive-through. Socks, the most requested item at shelters and service providers, so keep folks warm in the winter. Now we've added another one here in the summer to keep kids fed. You just loop through our parking lot. It's very simple. You don't have to get out of your nice, comfortable vehicle. You just hand whatever through the window or pop the hatch and we'll grab it for you. 7 in the morning till 6 in the evening. So the time, even on a Thursday, even the day of the week is the same for these drop events. So we're doing our part to make this as easy as we can to help our friends and neighbors.
That's what we're doing, 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. And again, big shout out to Jason and the folks at Union Mission as well, because they're kind of helping us, because we collect it and eventually we'll eat it. So he's got to take it.
He's not wrong.
He's going to take this stuff. And again, I gave you the list. That's just an idea. As long as it's a non-perishable food item, we'll take it. And it doesn't matter whether you can bring us a case of Gatorade bottles or you can bring one bottle. We don't care.
If you went through the store and they had a $2 for $4 situation, and you want to drink one of them and give us the other one, we will take it.
Yeah.
We are not saying no when it comes to helping our friends and neighbors.
All right. Rob, 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. on our parking lot here at 1111 Virginia Street East in Charleston, and it will be happening tomorrow.
Thursday.
Thursday. I was already thinking about tomorrow's show. But
I do the whole what day of the week is it a lot.
It's on Thursday, and I was looking ahead at the weather. The weather looks good. I mean, of course, you're not going to be getting out in your car anyway.
Fitting to be hot, so you can stay in your air-conditioned vehicle.
And that means that Steve Hannibal will be in a Speedo.
Again?
Yeah, again, it's just another day in paradise.
Surprised he'll be wearing that much.
All right. Rob Reel from our sister station, 96.1 KWS. Your country music station.
of the year. Yeah, they gave us a lot of shards of glass.
Yeah,
it was very nice.
I don't know if I've had a chance to congratulate you on the air about that, but yeah, 96.1 KWS was named by the West Virginia Broadcasters Association as the country music station of the year.
Yes, sir.
In West Virginia.
Yes, and maybe more important, my favorite one of those shards of glass, significant community impact.
Yes.
That's my favorite
And
one.
as I said, only a slight portion of it for us is court ordered. So
I look great in orange.
All right. Robb Real, appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan. If you're injured, hire Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
My name's Chris Miller. I'm president of Dutch Miller Automotive. Jarrett Construction completely renovated and helped redesign Dutch Miller Kia in South Charleston. The fit and the finish and the quality of the project is exceptional. He has an attention to detail and an eye for that kind of stuff. You always want to give your best to your customer. It's just as important to him as it is to you. If you're ever looking to build anything, I'd call Jarrett Construction because you know exactly you're going to get something excellent every single time.
Call on Jarrett Construction.
The free Metro News TV app is the place to watch the voice of West Virginia all day. See Talkline with Dave and TJ, Sportsline with Tony Caridi, Three Guys before the game, and now Metro News Middays and Hotline with Dave weekly. Get the Metro News Television app from the Apple App Store or Google Marketplace. Metro News Television is powered by the University of Charleston, the West Virginia Department of Tourism, Dan Cabot Toyota, the WVHTC Foundation, WVU Medicine, and Trojan Landing and Marine, and Power Sport.
They say roads are made for journeys, not destinations. And now that I'm retired, I make a point to journey as much as I can. But when night driving became a challenge, my son and I decided it was time for a doctor's visit to ensure my safety behind the wheel. I was worried, but instead of restrictions, we discussed solutions to make sure I can continue on my journeys.
Aging can alter how we drive. Take charge of your safety and independence by evaluating your driving skills regularly. Learn more at StaySafeWV.com. This message is brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Trading in your business fleet or personal vehicle for a new one? Donate your used vehicle to Good News Mountaineer Garage and get the best tax deduction possible and the satisfaction of knowing your donation changed the life of someone in need. Good News Mountaineer Garage repairs donated vehicles and provides them to qualified West Virginia families, giving them access to employment, safe, affordable housing, health care, and other vital necessities, and putting them on the road to economic independence. Call 1-866-GIVE-CAR today for Good News Mountaineer Garage. 866-GIVE-CAR.
It's 6 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Great podcast. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetroNews.com. To the podcast menu, start your journey towards better health today. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. Text says, cool idea for a bodega on the East End, but too bad the area's full of trap houses. Hopefully it'll get turned around. Well, if you follow what Ric Cavender says there, when we have a thriving business community, that generally happens. So hopefully I agree with the texter on that. Texas question, now that the info has come to light of the newest Biden cover-up, not publicly releasing concerning health information related to East Palestine, Ohio, and the train derailment there, including internal warnings about the toxic burn plume's potential to cause cancer clusters, do we even know if these toxins were in the air that we are breathing here? Text says, guys, I have seen a trend on social media of companies creating rooftop gardening and placing greenhouses on their roofs, cared for by employees and volunteers to grow fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs to donate to child care and daycare facilities, nursing homes, pantries, and to distribute to communities. So it's cheaper to grow these things than to buy in stores. Could everyone please consider this idea? Consider it considered. All right. Text says, I agree, West Virginians are giving, but the people they elect are not, says texter. Text says, do you think that we'll ever progress out of this constant donating and fundraising? Well, not as long as there's a need. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. They begin a road series against High Point tonight. The Birds back at Go-Mart Ballpark 1 week from tonight, Tuesday, June 10th. For tickets, promotion schedules, and more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Have you seen this video circulating about the fight at the graduation party in Raleigh County. Chris Lawrence writes about it at WVMetroNews.com. I have the video on my Facebook page, Dave Allen Radio. It happened Saturday after graduation at Woodrow Wilson High School in Beckley. The chief deputy from the Raleigh County Sheriff's Department, David Allard, talked to Chris about it as part of the story. At this point, they really don't know what happened. And by the time police arrived, the crowd had dispersed. And as usual, it's the parents fighting and not the kids. Imagine that. Yet another example of grown adults ruining events for kids. And, you know, we see it constantly at sporting events from Little League to high schools. And it's stupid. It's just plain stupid. It's parents and grandparents who think it's all about them and not about the kids. I got a radical idea, TJ Meadows. All right. I got a radical idea here. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
We may have to, if this trend continues of parents and grandparents, not kids, parents and grandparents misbehaving at public events. Now it's graduations, and now it's in West Virginia. It's little leagues, it's high schools, whatever. Mom and dad can't behave, and mom and dad and grandparents need to stay away. We ban the parents, and we just let the kids play. And we just let the kids graduate. Everything's streamed anyway. If it continues like it is now, that's what's going to happen, and I'm 100% for it. If it continues like it is now.
Every parent?
Well, we've tried just prosecuting one or two, and that didn't work.
I don't know, man. You know how much I love you, but
if it continues the way it's going now,
then up the penalty. Make them stay a few nights in jail. Make it tangible.
Okay, all right. I'm fine with that.
That are doing
I'm fine with that. But you would agree with me, though. This is not the kids.
Out of hand. No,
it's not the kids.
Yeah.
It's 9 times out of 10. It's parents that have failed athletic. And I was no athlete. Don't get me wrong. You take one look at me and see that. But that have failed athletic dreams themselves that don't know how to behave in public. And you're not going to disrespect my baby. Well, you're disrespecting your baby now more than what anybody would have.
I have had to learn that my penchant for competition, and I love to compete. I'll compete with anybody on anything. That's the way I'm wired. I have to be very deliberate about not putting that on my children because they may not be as competitive about a certain thing. True. They may not care about it. And I, as their father, need to be okay with that and just love them for who they are and what they want to do. A lot of parents think their kid is going to the league. It's not happening.
And your kid's not special.
And your
I'm
kid's
sorry,
not special.
You've got to teach that. I mean, your kid is probably not that special, and they need to learn their place in society.
My dad used to tell me,
and that would be me too.
A lot of grief in the world. That was his number one thing. I'd go complaining about something. He'd look at me, God rest his soul, son, there's a lot of grief in the world.
Vaccines are your best protection against severe disease from flu and COVID-19. If you're 65 or older, risk less, do more with this season's vaccines. Get started at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. All right, what you got on the show today, Mr. Meadows?
We got a pretty good one coming up for you today, if I can get my email to work correctly. Brian Helton, a Fayette County Senator, he's going to be on the show. He has some exception, we'll say, to some things Greg Thomas told us a few weeks back. So we'll get into that, listen to what Thomas had to say, and get the refute. Eric Nelson on revenue numbers at 10:33. Sam Petzonk talking about that certification in the minor lawsuit with NIASH cuts. That's coming up at 11:06. 11:33. J.B. Akers, House Judiciary Chair on abortion laws and miscarriage laws in the state of West Virginia.
You created a firestorm with your commentary.
I didn't do anything. I commented on what somebody else wrote.
I was getting text about it on the Metro News
Midday
show
me?
yesterday. Yes.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. All right, we got to go. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you later today on Metro News Midday. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston, 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.